Hello, welcome to Colonel O'Truth's Miniature Issues. Over the last few months I've been building Undercrag City. If you've been following, you'll have seen the development of a number of different buildings, streets, city walls, towers, an aqueduct and a chapel. Now I'm focusing on one particular corner of the city, the Cascade, where there will eventually be a little bridge, a water wheel and a waterfall cascading from far above. There's a bit of a blank patch in the corner, so I decided to add an extra building. This I'm calling Craghouse. I've completed the build and painting of this small section of house in the usual manner which you can see in my previous videos. I've used the same paint and ink techniques, the same card, the same balsa wood. You can see I've added a small door to the cliff face and some steps, and sculpted a number of rocks from foam and clay. They've had a dark grey undercoat, and now I'm highlighting with light grey, then white, then there'll be an ink wash, green and yellow for moss, and all my usual techniques that I've covered a number of times already. There's an LED installed into the cliff face which will shine out through the windows of Craghouse. I'm checking and rechecking the fit of this building. To hide the join where Craghouse meets the cliff face, I'm adding a generous coating of PVA, and I'll work some clay into this. I hope my processes, techniques and materials are of interest to you. If they are, please subscribe to this channel, like it, share it, and so on. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. You'll be able to catch up on everything that's gone on so far. The tavern, Southgate Square, the city walls, High Chapel on its overhanging rock. Anyway, back to the construction. I'm adding red clay to the PVA, keeping plenty of glue on there. More clay. This will basically form a seal. The building will be pushed into it. Getting some paint in there while I can before it becomes too fiddly. This'll just make life easier. Plenty of glue on the house, and it's finally in place. Now I'm sculpting the cliff over the top of the roof. As Undercrag City develops, you'll see a lot more of this kind of thing. I intend to have a number of buildings built into the cliff face and hanging from it. This is fantasy after all. There were two windows up there. I've decided to cover one over. More paint. More clay. This is all just about sculpting everything into the landscape so that it all looks like it belongs. These buildings have been here a long time. They shouldn't be neatly defined against the landscape. More, they've become part of it. Starting to take shape. The ground has had a coating of sand. Now I'm continuing to blend it in. All of this needs to be done before I can paint the riverbed, put the water wheel in place, and build the waterfall. These paints are from household test pots. They're not expensive hobby paints. If you haven't seen this channel before, I focus greatly on using cheap materials, often free materials, and this includes some of the paints that I use. Filling in a bit of a gap there, a little bit of glue, and a little bit of sand. And there we are with the lights on. With the ground cover painted, I'm adding some basic colours to the water. This starts very bright, but it'll be darkened off. I'm starting here by blending in the join where the green on the rocks meets the water. Just gradually adding green ink and black ink. I want this to look irregular for variations in depth, ideally quite deep underneath the waterfall. The approach here is quite random. If I start thinking too much about this, it's all going to be too uniform. Adding some watered down brown ink to the riverbanks. Adding some details to the door. I must do something about the corner of that building. There we go. I think this is looking quite nice so far. Please keep watching the next episodes where I'll be adding the water wheel, the bridge and the waterfall, and finishing the river off. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope to see you again. Bye for now.